Good afternoon, live from Toronto on the GBKM network. Welcome to the Chat Up Show, the show where we catch you up with the chat up of our weekly headlines. I'm your host, Elizabeth Aloydi, and I hope that you are ready to chat it up with me today. Now, as always, you know you can keep up with the GBKM network in various ways. You can listen and watch live 24/7 at www.gbkm.tv or www.gbkm.fm, where you can also catch up on any past shows you may have missed, check out our upcoming show schedule. You can learn a little bit more about our on-air personalities and hosts. You can get our breaking news in our breaking news tab, and you can also purchase merchandise that supports us here at the network. You can also continue to watch us live on Facebook at GBKM Network and YouTube at GBKM Network, where you can subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that good stuff. You also make sure to download our free app. Our free app is available on all iOS and Android devices. And as I said, it is free, so you do not have to pay a penny for it. What you get is all of the features available on our web station. Plus, you get notified every time we go live. So every single time there is a show that goes live or there's a movie that goes live, you get notified right on your device to tune into the GBKM network. So make sure you download the GBKM app right now. It's available for iOS and Android devices. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at GBKM Network. Now, we have a very, very special guest joining us today, and I'm really excited to dive into our topic of discussion, which is diversity behind the camera. Now, the conversation around diversity in film and in the entertainment industry is not anything new. It's a conversation that we've had quite a few times here on the Chat Up Show in different ways, but we haven't had a chance to really look at the importance of diversity behind the camera and what that means for when we are watching these movies, when we're engaging in this media form. And so we have a very special guest joining us, Natasha Hishel, who is a Zimbabwe-born Canadian actor and filmmaker. Now, Natasha has been performing for a very long time, and creativity just essentially flows within your veins, doesn't it, Natasha?
Oh, yes.
From being a writer, dancer, actor, filmmaker, all of it, you name it, you've got that under your belt. And even recently, you've just been accepted into the Netflix BANFF, BANFF Diversity of Voices Initiative. Now, we're going to get into that a little bit later on in the show, but welcome to the show, first of all, Natasha.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, I want to hear about how you got into performance. Like, what was the aha moment for you that you were like, performing is my passion, it's my love, it's my driver?
Well, to tell you the truth, ever since I was a really young girl,
Yeah.
I have always had a passion for arts. I used to dance a lot. I used to, do acting at school and stuff like that. So it's something that I've always wanted to do ever since I was a kid. I don't remember a time that I did not want to, to be a performer. It's just, it's just in my DNA, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, and you hear that a lot with performers as well. It's like it's always been something that's been there for a long time. Maybe it takes a while to fully lean into it and follow that pursuit. So what was it for you, growing up that really gave you the push to fully lean into performance?
Well, first of all, I want to say that, back home, you know, entertainment industry is not really great.
Yeah.
So it's not something that, many adults want their children to be involved in. But, I used to live with my grandmother because my mom moved to Canada when I was really young.
Yeah.
So I lived with my grandmother, and, she encouraged me to get an education, which, by the way, is important. But she didn't want me have anything to do with arts. She encouraged me to get an education and get a real job. Like
Whatever
that
that
she
means.
meant, be a doctor like my mom, or do this, be a teacher, lawyer, like whatever. And I thought, I don't want to do this, but I guess I don't have any other choice because this is what my grandmother was for me. But I would go to school, and then I would just literally just not show up to my classes because I have to do a dance thing, or I have to do an acting thing and whatever. And I got into a lot of trouble for that. But at the end of the day, it was worth it because
Yeah.
it's really what I wanted to do. There was nothing my grandmother could do to change that. So she just had to accept it. And well, here I am,
Yeah.
you know.
And yeah,
I moved to
no.
Canada when I was like, that was in 2014. Moved to Canada to pursue an acting career and, went to school, got an agent, and yeah, here I am.
Yeah. That decision to move to follow your passion, is one not a lot of people can really take because it takes a lot of um, confidence in yourself as well to be like, okay, this is what I want to do and I'm going to pursue it whichever way I need to. So
Yeah.
what was it that you told yourself that kept you inspired and kept you focused on your goals, even though, moving
Yeah.
halfway across the world isn't always the easiest thing to do?
Yeah, first of all, my mom, she encouraged me to do what I wanted to do. She encouraged me to, if I wanted to be an actor or whatever I wanted to do in life, she was very supportive, you know, in that regard. And I really appreciate her because she, without her, I don't think I would have, even come here or, actually pursued my acting career. And, she sent me to school and, she got me, a lot of resources that helped me to, to realize my passion and to actually pursue my dreams. So she was like the backbone of everything. She's the one who inspired me not to give up no matter how many times, I failed. So honestly, I owe everything to my mom. She's the one who got me into this in the first
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, and it's always important to have that support as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, working
it's
through that.
very important because, like I said, no one else believed that I could actually do this. People didn't think acting or, anything to do with arts was a real job.
Yeah.
And my mom was just like, doesn't matter if it's what you want to do, it's what you want to do. So just do it. And, she's been pushing me and championing me all the way.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm here today because of her.
Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I love hearing these stories about how people supported by their parents for their dreams, and you bring up the real job thing,
Yeah.
Also being from an African background, I'm Nigerian. Of
Yeah.
course, our entertainment
So
industry is completely different. Yeah, exactly. I had the support from my parents, but there are other people who are looking like from the outside, kind of thinking, what you're gonna let her go off and pursue
I know,
this?
it's not like the entertainment industry back home. I don't know. I feel like maybe it's the same in Nigeria. It's not as, I guess, big and, as here in North America. So I think I kind of understand where they're coming from. Although I really think they should give, people a chance to kind of do what they want instead of just shutting them out of their dreams and stuff like that. But hey, it is what it is. Hey.
Yeah, it is. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So one thing about you is that you are careful with your choices, and that you feel that it's important to be heard. And so why do you feel that that was such an important thing to hold true in your career for you?
Well, because I'm gonna tell you something. When I first started as an actress here in Canada, I got an agent. I graduated college. I got an agent, which was great because I was like one of the first to get an agent in my class.
Yeah.
But then my agent actually told me that I would not be able to audition for the kinds of shows that I wanted because first of all, I have an accent and because I'm a visible minority. So there were not a lot of roles for me. He went on about how, mainstream wants light-skinned Black people, with long curly hair and like that's beautiful, to them, and the rest of us are not. Back home, even though there was some sort of discrimination, I guess, because light-skinned people are treated better than the dark-skinned people. But that's something that I never actually realized, until I came here when just things just got worse and I got into the entertainment industry and I realized, wow, the color of my skin and my accent, that just works against me. I'm never gonna get any audition without being stereotyped or without being told to sound a certain way, which I think is ridiculous. So, with that, I just started to realize how bad things were and how we needed to be represented, how we needed to be able to tell our stories.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take Canada, for instance. It's so diverse here. You go to Toronto, there's people from different cultures, different backgrounds, different races. Why can we not show that on TV? Because that's beautiful. The fact that people can come together, people from different parts of the world can come together and live together peacefully, and love one another and just coexist. That to me is beautiful.
Yeah.
So why do we keep showing things that are not real on TV? Why do we keep showing Black people as being light-skinned with long straight hair? Why do we keep showing just that? Why can we not represent the true people? Why can we not represent the true cultures? Why are we not representing this beautiful diversity? Why are young children not seeing themselves on TV? I think everybody deserves to have their story told.
Yeah.
And, I learned that the hard way, but this is it's something that I'm trying to, I know it's not enough for me to just try, and I guess create jobs as a filmmaker. I decided to be a filmmaker to create jobs for people like me who don't have voices, not just Black people, but different races, wherever they come from. I don't care. I just want to give people, everybody, the chance to tell their story, to be included, to feel like they belong. Because I felt like I didn't belong when I first started acting, and it's not good. It's not a great feeling. So I really want to work towards eliminating that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a story that you hear a lot of times, especially with dark-skinned people of color, but especially dark-skinned women of color. Because, when we're looking at, let's say, looking at Black couples in media, it's usually the dark-skinned man with the light-skinned woman, or, or we'll have an interracial couple and we'll see a white man with a light-skinned Black woman. And it's not to say that this isn't represented in the world, but it's not a complete representation.
Yeah.
And why do you think, in your opinion, so many of our filmmakers are missing out on that connection?
Yeah, to tell you the truth, I don't know. That this is just something that baffles me.
Yeah.
I'm really still trying to figure out why it is the way it is. Because in my opinion, I think everyone is beautiful, light-skinned, dark-skinned, whatever. So it just, I don't understand. I don't understand why people should be judged based on their looks or, the way they sound. It's just wrong. I have a brother, and he's young, and I fear for him all the time because he's just going to grow up in this, this crazy world. And, I'm trying, through my films and music, I'm trying to eliminate that. Like I said, I know it's not enough, but, I'm doing my part, hoping to, to inspire the younger generations.
Yeah. So what
to create a better world.
Yeah, to create a better world, yes. So what does doing, your part look like? Because maybe that might inspire other filmmakers to hopefully do their part too. What would you say that looks like?
Well, first of all, I created a show which I'm currently shopping around, and it's a supernatural, fantasy drama with a majority Black cast. Because, like I said, yes, I've always had an obsession with shows like The Vampire Diaries and
I just
Buffy
finished watching that.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Yes.
It's like one of my favorite shows.
Oh my goodness, I've watched it 3 times.
What? Oh my God, I want to do that. I want to watch it so many times again. But now I know everything that happens.
I know.
But anyways, I've always had an obsession with those kind of shows. Supernatural, watched that show so many times.
Yeah.
And, I just, you watch them and you realize there's always a majority white cast and, a few Black characters that are, really don't look like me. And it's it's really like those shows are well made and a lot of young people watch them.
Yeah.
But if they don't, they don't see themselves represented in those kinds of shows, that's a problem. Not that I'm saying the Vampire Diaries should have had black characters or like whatever, but I'm just saying if they're going to tell a story about young people, I feel like they should be able to represent every young person out there. You know what I mean? So my show is similar to the Vampire Diaries, but it has a majority white cast.
Yeah.
And it's basically a story about what it means to be black, but it's dressed in visual effects and sexy vampires and stuff like that, just to keep the audience entertained. But other than that, it's really a show that represents the power and beauty of black people. Everything from black Africans to the thoughts and frustrations of black Americans and just everything in between.
Yeah.
That's because I was inspired by Black Panther. I never thought I would see a superhero, like a Hollywood superhero that actually speaks Zulu, which I understand, which I just blew my mind. But so I was inspired by Black Panther. This is why I created my show, and I really hope that people that get my show are inspired as well to to tell their story, to do their thing, even just not just actors but filmmakers as well. I think it's very important that we tell these kinds of stories and just give people a voice.
Yes, giving people a voice. Now, I want to jump back to just the Black Panther for a second. You mentioned that it was amazing to hear Zulu being spoken.
Oh, my God!
How accurate would you say that film was?
The reason why I liked it is because they did their research.
Yeah.
Everything was just, it was perfect. I could understand everything that they were saying.
Yeah.
It was perfect. The culture, the way they represented that, the face paintings, the characters, and, just the way they were carrying themselves. It felt so real. I could connect, which just blew my mind. These people are Americans and they actually took their time to research and not disrespect other cultures, which to me is very impressive. Yeah. I really, really enjoyed that. And my brother watching Black Panther for the first time, it was the first time seeing him, seeing someone who looks like him on TV. And, to this day, he still has an obsession with it. Aww. I never heard the end of it. That's the kind of environment I want to create, for everybody to feel equal, to be represented, for everybody to be happy and to feel like they belong. Yeah. I mean, this is why I actually decided to be a filmmaker, just for that reason.
Yeah, that's what I was actually going to get into, because, what came first for you, would you say? Was it the passion towards filmmaking as a whole, or was it just acting?
It was actually acting. I never believed myself to be a filmmaker. I never thought that I had what it takes to be a filmmaker. I was not interested in filmmaking. I just wanted to be an actress. I just wanted to be in front of the camera, but then, life doesn't work like that. You never get what you want all the time. Yeah. I realized that if I don't create my own work, I am never going to achieve my dreams. So that's why I actually became a filmmaker. I never wanted to be. I didn't even think I could be. I had no idea how to be a filmmaker, but I had to learn, and I did. And now I know what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. And how did you learn?
Well, first of all, I have my professors back at school. They, even though I had graduated, they kind of helped me. They told me what classes I'm supposed to take, and they gave me a lot of resources. I did my research. I spoke to a lot of people. I started writing, and I failed. I wrote again. I failed. I tried to make a film. I failed, and I was learning from my failures. Wow. So all that, just failing and people supporting me, my professors and all that, and just doing my research kind of started, learning how to do this and just getting into the game. And even though right now I'm still pretty much new, but I know what it takes to be a filmmaker and how hard it is. But I just keep pushing.
Yeah. Even like
Yeah.
writing too, that's another, because filmmaking, I think a lot of us think of like, okay, just the director, you stand behind the camera, you say action,
Yeah.
and like that's it, that's your job. No, first
Yeah.
of all, that's
No,
not just the job.
There's a lot. There's producing, there's writing, which is I
You don't like it as much?
I don't know what to say. Writing is when I'm reading scripts, I'm thinking, wow, this is well written. And when I'm thinking, oh, this looks easy, and then get my laptop and just start writing. It's impossible. it's not impossible, but it's really hard. It's just, I guess what I'm saying is it's harder than what I thought it would be like. Everything else is it's still hard, but writing for me is just the hardest.
I think everyone says that about writing. It's like you can appreciate someone else's work and be like, this is so amazing. But even that person that wrote that could be like, this is the worst pile of garbage I've ever written in my life, and I hope that no one ever reads it again.
I felt like that so many times. I give other people to read my scripts. They're like, oh, this is good. I'm like, are you sure? Because I'm not feeling this.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Usually artists don't like their own work, I guess. But
But I mean, you kind of have to dive into your own work as a filmmaker. You gotta find a way to work through it.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, it's fun. At the end of the day, it's fun, and it's if you get the right people, you learn a lot. Even though it's tough, but you just gotta keep moving and learning along the way.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, how does it feel seeing something that you've created and seeing the process of it coming to life and becoming a real thing?
It's scary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it feels great. Scary because you're taking your work and you're giving it to the world to judge. Do they like it? Do they not? Am I going to get those awards? Am I not? What about the reviews, the critics, and stuff like that? I think that's like the thing that's actually scary about being an artist. But other than that, I think the process of I guess succeeding in actually getting those reviews that you wanted and people actually acknowledging your work and all that, I think that feels great. Especially if you've worked so hard on this project, and now you're getting all these good reviews and people like it. But again, if if you fail, you don't get, I guess, the the reviews that you wanted or whatever. I really encourage people to see that as a learning process. They shouldn't take it personal. It's not easy being an artist. So just learn from that, listen to what people say. People sometimes tend to just talk garbage and, not, care about what you feel. But I really, talking from experience, I would encourage people to, just to listen and just to learn from their mistakes and learn from what other people are saying. But again, it's very rewarding to actually finish a project, whether it's good or bad. The fact that you went from start to finish, that's a great accomplishment.
Yeah. And you hear some filmmakers say that, once you forget about the potential of winning the awards and forget about the review and forget about the critics, is when you're really fully allowing yourself to explore your creativity, because it's just for you. Like, this is just like passion projects. Yeah. Would you agree?
I mean, yes, because you don't want to write a project, like you don't want to write something, a project, whatever, to, to impress everybody, because you can't do that, right? But at the end of the day, you want your work to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people might say, oh, you write for yourself or whatever, which is great. But if you don't get that acknowledgement from people, then who are you writing for?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're writing for the people. So it's a double-edged sword. You just have to, I guess, find a balance there.
Yeah. Wow. You're
Yeah.
writing for the people. That is a word. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now you do say
Yes.
that for the people and, giving people a voice, especially folks that look like us. But
Yeah.
what else would you say keeps you inspired and motivated to keep working and keep creating?
Well, it's honestly, it's just my passion.
Yeah.
It's just something that I want to do. I watch great shows on TV,
Hmm.
great movies, and I feel so inspired. I'm like, I wanna be at that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just the feelings that I'm feeling, just feeling inspired and just loving these characters. I want people to be able to feel like that when they watch my work.
Hmm.
So, sometimes I tend to just stay away from TV
Yeah.
because, every time I watch TV, I have all these thoughts, just running through my mind. I'm thinking, I want to do that. I want to do that. It kind of makes me lose focus on what what I'm actually working on because
Yeah.
I just start creating like all these different projects instead of just focusing on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I honestly just everything to do with arts inspires me. Dance, if I watch a music video, I'm like, whew, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Watch a movie, TV show, I'm thinking, I want to do that. You know what I mean? It's just something that it's in my DNA.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, honestly. It's just something
just
that
there.
I
Yeah.
want. It's just there. Yeah.
And it's rare and it's a privilege to also just feel that way about your passion, and it feels like a purpose.
Yeah.
And that like no matter how much I try to shake it, because there's some people who are like, maybe I shouldn't go into this, like maybe I should just like dull whatever I'm feeling within myself. I tried it too. I was like, maybe I don't need to like lean into this whole journalism thing.
Yeah.
I don't even want to be a journalist. Next thing I know, sorry, this is the road you're destined to go down.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. I like my friends that I went to school with. They kind of just, gave up.
Yeah.
They're like, it's hard, and I'm just gonna give up. I was like, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna die trying. I guess everybody's different. If you have this strong passion about what you want, and you just go for it, whether you fail or not. I just encourage people to just keep going.
And on that note, we are going to take a really quick commercial break, but don't worry, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis field.
Hello and welcome back to the Chat Up Show. I'm your host, Elizabeth Eloidy, and we are joined today by a special guest, actor and filmmaker, Natasha Hichel. Actually, I'm just going to call you a creative because I feel like actor and filmmaker doesn't encapsulate everything about you and who you are. So creative, Natasha Hichel. And we've been talking about how, life inspires us and how our drives and passion inspire us to continue going and pursuing our careers, essentially. And hearing from you, Natasha, about how, creating your own destiny, essentially, creating your own jobs. It's not easy to do that. But
No, it's not.
What really gave you that, like, listen, it's now or never. I can't keep waiting on other people to recognize my talent. I can't keep waiting on these opportunities to, maybe not fall on my lap, but just be presented to me, just be available. I have to create these opportunities for myself. Like, what was that journey like for you to come to that?
Well, it's first of all rejections.
Yeah.
Rejection after rejection, which is, I think it's part of the industry. And every time you get rejected, you just have to get up and keep moving. But I think one thing that actually made me decide to just create work for myself is the fact that I always got these same stereotypical roles, and I was always told that because of my accent, I can't audition for certain roles. I can't change the way I sound. I tried, I've tried. I took classes. I've tried to sound North American. It just doesn't happen. I can't. It's not in me. So I thought, you know what? I'm just gonna create my work and just prove that, with my accent, which I can't change, I can still be an actor. I can still be entertaining. It shouldn't be about my accent. It should be about my talent.
Yeah.
So it's been I guess tough. Filmmaking is not easy. It's been challenging and but it's doable. If I kept going, I kept moving, I met a lot of people. With what's going on in the world right now, there's a lot of opportunities that are opening for people of color, which I think really helped me a lot. Yeah.
And one of those opportunities, would you say, was the Netflix BAMF Diversity of Voices initiative? Which,
Yes.
for those watching, just to give you an idea of what this is essentially, actually, you know what? I'll have you explain it.
Well, it's a program that is meant to jumpstart the careers of creators and I guess producers of color in Canada. It's meant to jumpstart their careers and get them to meet people in decision makers in the industry, and just to network with people that can move their projects forward and get them made and seen.
Yeah, and that's in work with Netflix as well. And we're seeing with the rise of this streaming platform that the conversations that we have about diversity surrounding inclusion, people are listening. And a lot of times people say like, oh, talking about it isn't going to do anything. Like, what changes will really come? It's been like this for so long, especially in the entertainment industry. They don't care. They only care about making money. Who cares whether you are represented in a TV show? If you feel that those around you represent you, why do you need to see that on TV? All of these different things that is essentially saying like, don't complain, because what's the point? What do you say to that?
That again, I think that's oppression. You can't tell people not to voice their concerns. It helps. Like everybody complained. People talked. It got all over the world, and people not listening. Even though it's really happening slow, but there's a bit of a change. It's not completely eliminated. There's still so much discrimination. Just a couple days ago, my agent told me that she sent an actor with a very thick accent, although the actor was very talented, but and she got yelled at, like, why are you sending someone with an accent, or like whatever,
Wow.
So it's something that's still happening.
Yeah.
It's not completely over. And I think the more we work towards eliminating that and giving people voices and being able to tell our stories, representing people, I think the generations to come, things will be better for them. It's not going to be the same for us, although I think we should pave the way for generations to come by talking about it and acting, just not talk. Obviously talking doesn't work if you don't actually act. You know what I mean? And I'm doing that by producing my own show, even though I'm sure it's not gonna be something for everybody, for every Black person, but for those that see it, I hope they get inspired and actually do something as well, to encourage diversity and just to help fight racism and discrimination. So I think it helps. I think talking helps, acting helps, whatever small thing that each and every one of us contributes, towards eliminating racism and discrimination. I really think it helps, no matter how small it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even with that, a lot of the time, they say that the loudest voices are usually the ones that are, have the most controversial opinions, and it's not always what the the consensus is. It's just that this is the one thing that's been picked up. So when we hear people saying like, oh, this is enough diversity for Netflix, and then, you know, we think that that's what the industry is like gonna go with and say like, okay, this is enough. This is all you want. We'll give you these crumbs. That's fine. Okay. And then people are getting angry because it's like, no, we shouldn't be clapping a fish for swimming. Like this should be already something that happens anyway. Like we shouldn't have to be fighting for the same diversity that is in the world around us. And
exactly. That's what I think as well. We shouldn't have to be fighting for this. You know, we shouldn't have to even complain about this. This is something that is supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Something that's just supposed to happen. We shouldn't have to, you know, fight Netflix to have more diversity. Like I say, this is something that I don't understand.
Yeah.
I really don't get why, because if they're creating these shows, you know, they're creating these shows for every creator has an audience for their show. They know who they're creating this show for. Like the world is diverse. I don't care where you go. You go to America, you go to the UK, you go to Africa, wherever. There's people from different parts of the world. So if let's take for instance Hollywood, right? If they're creating a show for a certain audience, is it always just like one audience? You know, is it always just an audience? Like, is it just for the white people or just for Black people, or just, you know, it doesn't make sense. I feel like every single person should be able to create a show that speaks to their audience, and like just these different people, different cultures, you know, versus just, you know, oppressing people that that want to showcase their stuff simply because they're not I don't even know what word to use. Simply, maybe they're not up to their standards, or, you know, I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is with discrimination. I don't understand the whole science behind it.
Yeah.
But I think it's ridiculous. I think everybody deserves an opportunity to tell their story. This is something that we shouldn't fight for. This is not the 1800s. That's over. You know, we should be past that by now.
Yeah. Like this shouldn't even be a conversation anymore. Yeah.
Honestly, it should not.
Yeah. But then when we do see films being made, you know, and we're seeing predominant, like, let's say diverse actors on screen, a lot of the time it's diversity with stereotypes attached to it. So it's not just the diversity of showing that, you know, we may all look different, but for the most part, like, we go through the similar things. Like, why can't we see the same rom-coms with majority white protagonists that we do with our Black rom-coms? You know, people will bring up Tyler Perry and talk about how he almost feeds into the same trope with, you know, Black women have to suffer in love. Like, that's what all his movies essentially show. Why is it that, you know, diversity only stops at what it looks like? It doesn't also continue on with the types of stories we tell too, i.e. bringing up the show that you're working on, something around supernatural, but still ties into the Black identity across the globe, not just the North American Black identity, but also the African Black identity, European Black identity as well. Like, diversity is more than just what we see, it's also the stories.
Exactly. I think, I don't know. I feel like, I don't want to talk for everybody, but I feel like, you know, people just, no one wants to do their research. Everyone just wants to stick to the stereotypes because that's what the world knows. You know, people I think real stories about diversity are stories about things that people actually don't know, things that people don't see. You know, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying giving people the opportunity to tell their stories, to tell real stories about them. So I think if someone wants to make a movie or a TV show about, say, about Africa, I feel like there should be an African involved, you know, so that we don't, you know, talk about the stereotypical Africa, I don't know how people see Africa, you know, but
like the poverty-stricken Africa.
Exactly. Yeah. We should be able to tell stories about real Africa. If I say Africa right now, people think poverty, they think animals, or like, you know, safari, or like whatever. There's so much more to Africa than that. You know what I mean? There's so much more to Africa than that. So, like, we're talking about Black Panther. They did their research. I'm not sure if they actually had someone from Africa, actually, help with the script writing or like with the story, but they did a great job. If they did a very good job actually showing how Africa is, like, although it was exaggerated because Wakanda, it's not a real place, but this is why we need people from different backgrounds, in the entertainment industry, for them to be able to tell their stories, for them to be able to tell a story that is, not these stereotypical stories. We want to get out of that, because that is why discrimination exists, just stereotyping people because of the way they look or the way they sound or whatever. So we want to get out of that. We should have different backgrounds. You can't, there's so many diverse people out there, you can, I'm sure if someone from Hollywood wanted to write a show about Africa or about Asia, or about, I don't know, China or like whatever, they can get someone who actually knows, what happens in China, what happens in Africa, instead of just using what people already think they know. That's ridiculous to me, honestly. Yeah.
And how do you think like initiatives like the Diversity of Voices initiatives will help deal with this? Having people, as they say, more diverse seats at the table, that everyone of different backgrounds should have their voices heard in these decision-making processes, not just in front of the camera, but especially behind the camera, because that's where a lot of the decisions are made. I mean, the actors don't have all the full control over what goes on and who even gets the role or how the show, like what happens. So it's a lot of it is what's going on behind the camera, in these meetings, behind these closed doors that not everyone has access to.
I think this program will, like, it's giving opportunity to filmmakers of people of color and stuff like that, which is very important because I think it's because right now, especially in Canada, it's hard to find a Black filmmaker. There's a few of them, right? It's hard to find a Black creator who's actually recognized, right? I think with this program, it's trying to actually push more, racialized communities to join the industry, to be heard. It's giving them that power to actually have their, their stuff out there, to, jumpstart their careers and, just to make sure that the industry is diverse. I know that show, Kim's Convenience, the one on CBC, I was shocked to find out that, most of the people behind the camera were white. That's a show about, I believe they're Koreans, if I'm not mistaken. Why did we not have, creators with a Korean background to actually work on this show? Right. They might, maybe they, maybe the, I don't know, the creator of the show looked and couldn't find any Koreans because they were not given an opportunity to, to work on their craft. They were not, we don't have established Korean, creators and producers. So they couldn't find anybody. The only people that were available with white creators and like stuff like, which is so wrong. I think it's wrong. I personally have never watched that show. And, I really hope that, they manage to, actually tell an accurate story about, being Korean in Canada. But still, I think it would have been better to actually have, Korean creators actually work on that show.
Just because, like, especially when it's a show that's so rooted in that specific culture, like you'd hope that someone behind the scenes would have at least a deeper grasp of said culture. But that show was critically acclaimed. There were a lot of folks who felt like, yes, this is the first time we're seeing this type of representation of Koreans on TV and like Canadian Koreans as well. and that's, you brought up a point, is that not a lot of people know that these opportunities are available because they haven't seen it as as a possibility, essentially,
Yeah.
because there isn't that representation. You don't hear
Yeah.
a lot of people within your community saying like, oh, I'm a producer, or I'm a filmmaker, or I'm a director, for, you know, and like having these long-term careers. Of course, we see it a lot in America, but Canadians specifically, because I think that when we think of North American, a lot of people just automatically think Hollywood.
The US.
But
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly.
Hollywood comes over here to film. So
Yeah.
there's a pretty strong and established industry here within just even within Toronto and even Vancouver, if you want to go to the West Coast as well, when it comes to the entertainment industry. So it's not like there isn't the opportunity for it. It's just that it's taking the industry some time
Yeah.
to get there. But
Yeah.
hopefully,
Sorry.
no worries, no worries. But hopefully, do you think that this is hope changing somewhat with more of these initiatives coming up?
Yeah. Yeah, I really hope so too. Like I honestly don't understand. Like in like you said, in the United States, there's actually a lot more diversity, you know, than here in Canada. So, well, I guess the Canadian entertainment industry it's pretty small.
Yeah.
It's really, really small. And you know, with that, I think we should still be able to, you know, have, you know, creators and writers and actors from different backgrounds so we
Yeah.
can represent our country,
Yeah.
so we can represent and show how diverse Canada is, but also to give everybody an opportunity. Everybody has dreams, everybody wants to chase their dreams. I feel like we should just be fair and just give people the opportunity, just as, you know, as long as the people are talented.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying let's just take a Black person or an Asian person and just throw them in the entertainment, you know, in the creative roles simply because of the color of their skin. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we should all have the same opportunities.
Yeah.
Really.
Equal
Yeah.
opportunity. Yeah. But that's
Yeah.
actually an important thing that you brought up about how we're not asking just to throw someone in the role just because, you know, they fit a quota.
Yeah, exactly.
This isn't
No.
about affirmative action. Like, this is about, you know, making sure
Yeah.
that you're like acknowledging that there's diversity and you can pick someone who
Exactly.
may not look the
But-
way.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing. Like I see it a lot on like social media. You know, every time we bring diversity up, it's a very touchy issue. You know, everybody has their own opinions, but people don't seem to understand, you know, especially people that have never experienced what we've experienced. They don't seem to understand where we're coming from and what we want. They
Yeah.
think we just want the privilege. You know, they think we just want, I'm not sure what goes on, you know, in people's heads, but they simply don't understand why this is important to us and why, you know, we you know, why we need, you know, these equal opportunities. So honestly, I it's going to be hard to know, to get everybody to understand. Some people may never understand what we're going through, but you know, I'm just hoping that with time, you know, not just for the entertainment industry, I'm talking about for everything, the work, like different places. I know my mom has been, you know, going through a lot of, you know, racism where she works. So it's not just the entertainment industry, it's everywhere. And I'm really hoping that, you know, with diversity, you know, just sipping in and having a lot of, you know, creators and you know, just actors, you know, from different backgrounds. I hope that's a start, you know, to actually make people realize how important this is. Yeah.
Now, speaking from the casting perspective, I want to touch on there's a new movie that came out about a week ago. For those of you who don't know, it's called In the Heights, and this movie is based on a book written by Kiara Algeria-Hughes and music and lyrics written by Hamilton's Lin-Manuel Miranda. Now, this movie is getting a lot of criticism because it is supposed to represent a neighborhood in the New York borough of Manhattan called Washington Heights, where there's a diverse, you know, array of cultures, mostly Caribbean and Latin American cultures. So we have Haitians, we have Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, all living in this neighborhood, and it's a diverse array from Afro-Latinos to, other folks who are part of the Latin community, Hispanic, what have you. But in this film, folks felt that the casting wasn't as accurate of the representation of Washington Heights, that there were a lot of lighter skinned Latinos being represented in the lead roles. But when it came to the ensemble cast, all of a sudden diversity is there. We could see more Black people, we could see Asians, we could see all of these different cultures mixing and mingling with one another to really show the authentic representation of the neighborhood. Now, there was some backlash during the press circuit of this new movie, during the premiere, because folks felt that, it wasn't the actor's fault that this casting was done the way it was done. So why are they the ones that now have to come out and talk about it during press week when they just need a job?
Yeah.
So what do you say to that part of the argument? As an actor.
Well, as an actor, if I'm given if I'm called to an audition and I land the audition, I take the role because I need the money. I guess not just the money, but I love acting. So I completely agree. It's not the actor's fault. It should be the producers, the casting directors. They should have sorted that out. They should have. I don't know. They should have. They are the ones who are responsible for bringing these actors, on set. They should have been the ones to actually represent. I didn't watch this movie. Yeah. I don't know what it's about, but I understand why people are frustrated with it. It's not the actor's fault. It's the producers. It's the casting directors. They are the ones who are responsible for bringing these actors. Why can they represent, the real thing? Why do they have to use the light-skinned people? I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I'm just saying, why are they not, representing the truth about what they're writing? The actors are just going to be there. They're called in for an audition. They are going to get it. I'm called in for an audition, even if even if it's a role is meant for let's say for a white person. If I'm sure they don't tell them that. They just bring you in for an audition, and you land the role if you're good, and then you're in. So why should the actors be? They shouldn't be blamed for this. I think. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just as a casting director as well, when you are picking actors for roles, what's going on through your mind? Because maybe there's something there that there's a block for certain people that they can't see past their vision.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a casting director. Yeah. I'm not sure about the process, but I believe that the writer, has it. The writer has a breakdown of the kinds of characters that they want for this role. What the lead character, there is a description for that character. So I feel like maybe the casting director works off that. If the writer says, "Oh, my lead character is a white person," or "My lead character is a Black person," that's what the casting director is going to work with. So it really points back to the production team. It really points back to the writer, to the producer. I think they're the ones that actually, decide what kind of characters are in their project. So it's really not the casting director, but everyone else in the production team. They are the ones who are supposed to, make sure that they have the right characters for these roles and stuff like that.
Yeah, we're just going to take a really quick commercial break, but no worries, we'll be right back, so stay tuned.
My name is Carol, and I'm currently a project coordinator. I took the project management course. I learned a number of things, one of which was interview skills. I learned about the Agile framework and how that's very different from the waterfall model of project management.
At Top Run Consulting, the key unique area that we try to focus on is not to just impart certification knowledge, but the application of real-world tools.
Back in June 2017, I did the business analysis course at Top Run. I learned the basic and advanced skills and tools to be successful in business analysis field.
Hello and welcome back to the Chat Up Show. I'm your host Elizabeth Eloidy, and today we are joined by Natasha Hishel, and we've been discussing diversity behind the camera and the importance of really taking in it's important to have diverse opportunities across the board, and even those people who are filling those opportunities, everyone deserves a seat at the table, and that's how we get the true representation that we look for in all media forms even. I mean, this conversation that we've been having, especially about the Canadian film industry, you mentioned that it's still small, relatively small if we compare it to Hollywood, of course. But that would, make us think that since it's so small, you'd think that maybe, they would take a look around us in the 21st century in 2021 and be able to adapt a little bit more, that it's not as large as Hollywood, and maybe we don't have as many blockbuster budgets and productions going on within the Canadian film industry here. So why is it still so hard? Because maybe it's easier just to continue with the status quo.
Yeah, I honestly have no idea. It should be easy. Like I said, Canada is very diverse. I know a lot of people from different backgrounds that are doing film and television. So I don't understand why, we're not giving these people opportunities. This is something that I honestly don't know how to answer, because I just don't get it.
Yeah.
I really don't get it. There's so many talented, writers and creators out there. Why are we not giving them opportunities? It beats me. I have no idea why it's the way it is.
But now we have filmmakers like you who are conscious of it. And, there's the new generation that's coming up who's more conscious of diversity. And that's who, I like to say the later end of the millennials, maybe millennials included, and Gen Z especially, are really vocal about this does not stand. Like, this doesn't work. This doesn't make sense for the society we live in today. Fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that, that changes. I hope that, creators right now, like the creators that are in the industry right now, I hope they pave the way for the younger generations. Because like you said, they can see what's happening.
Yeah.
They understand that diversity is important. So I hope, when they come in and when they take over, things will be different. I have faith that things will be different, because things are slowly changing.
Yeah.
So it really makes sense that, when they take over, things would be completely, I guess, better for, people that didn't have an opportunity. Hopefully we're going to have more diverse, creators and just, actors as well.
Yeah, just all around diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we let you go, what's one last thing that you would like to say, maybe just as a message, or, shout yourself out to our audience?
Well, I honestly really want to say that don't give up on your dreams. Whoever you are, wherever you are, if you feel like you can't, I say you can. You're chasing after your dreams and just doing what you want, and just, going out there, even if people tell you that you can't do it, think you can. That is that even if it's small, it's a change towards making this a better world. So people shouldn't give up. No matter what you look like, no matter what you sound like, do what you can. You're really creating a better world for the generations to come. Yeah. So hopefully I inspire people with my upcoming show. Definitely. And I inspire them to, to have a voice and to just live their lives.
Now, speaking of your upcoming show, I'm sure folks would want to know how they can keep up and keep in touch with you to find out more about this project and I definitely want to know?
Yes, you can follow me on my Instagram, Natasha Heschel, or Facebook, Natasha Heschel, and I post everything there. Or you can visit my website, natashaheschel.com, and I always make updates on the projects that I'm working on, so you will never miss anything.
Great. Thank you so much, Natasha, for joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to chat with you.
All right, thank you for having me.
Of course, and we'll definitely be having you back soon. This was fun.
Oh, I hope so.
Yes. Okay, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care.
All right. Thank you so much, and take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
And now that concludes our show today. Thank you so much for chatting it up with us. As always, keep up with the GBKM network by listening and watching live 24/7 at www.gbkm.tv or www.gbkm.fm. Download our free GBKM app for all iOS and Android devices. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. It's GBKM Network. Subscribe to us on YouTube at GBKM Network and follow us on Facebook at GBKM Network. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. It's TIS_Liz_O. And with that, I will see you same time, same place next week. Take care.
The bad news is that everyone is a potential victim. But the good news is that everyone is a potential solution. Sensitize the masses to sanitize. Keep a social distance and quarantine. Stop!
The coronavirus is sweeping over mankind.
Everybody must be alert. It's a global pandemic we can never take for granted. Kila mtu must be alert. It's a matter of life we can never take for granted.
Welcome to ZFM's exciting summer program. Last year, the children learned awesome ways of making animation videos. Let's give you a sneak peek of what the children learned last year. This year, we have some exciting programs for this summer. The first program is the cartoon character rigging. This program will teach the children about basic shapes, character designs, character refining, flexi binding, and lots more. This is where children bring their imagination into reality. The program starts from July 5th to July 22nd, and the programs are in 3 phases. The second program is the Kids Coral Draw. This is where children learn how to explore their creative minds by using the software to learn how to draw. The program starts from July 26th to July 29th. Details and registration links are on the flyers. Zoom ID will be sent after payment and registration. Hurry up and register quickly for these exciting programs before the seats are filled up. See you there. Do you want to be your own boss and make income or extra income with flexible schedule? Welcome to Keenan Courier. Keenan Courier works as a marketplace platform connecting customers who need something delivered with drivers that are willing to serve them. Courier with any vehicle, better trip allocation, and cash out your earnings whenever you want. Download our driver apps today to sign up.